with another Monday night Facebook Live in the Marketing for Insurance Agents group. We've got a very, very special guest on with us today, Bruce Weinstein, and we got a really, really awesome live plan for you guys tonight. So first things first, we need to know that you guys can see us and hear us. Otherwise, we're just going to be talking into thin air. No, won't do anybody any good. So as you guys are hopping on, let us know down below in the comments that you can see us, you can hear us, and tell us what we're wearing on our heads. That way we know you can really see us and you can hear us. So that will let us know. And with that, because we have 20,000 plus insurance agents in this Facebook group, which is going all the time. We appreciate all of you guys inviting other awesome agents and agency owners to the group, being a part of the community, all your participation and questions, and providing so much, help to other agents and stuff. That's why we love this community. We also have new people that hop on all the time. And so with that, we love to say hi. We love to welcome them. We love to have them check out their very first Facebook Live, which is maybe the very first one. And so with all the new people hopping in, whether you're catching the replay of this or you're joining us live right now, which live is always better, then let us know if this is your very first Facebook Live with us. If you've never seen any of these, you've never checked it out, or never been on one of these live, right first down below first, and let us know this is your first one. And we'd love to say hi, love to welcome, and we'd love to have some of our team members reach out, connect, learn a little bit about you and your business and where you're at, whether you're just starting or have an established one as well, and see how we can best help and support with this group. And if you're an MFI regular and you guys hop on this all the time, you guys have seen these, you guys have been here for years, caught 500 plus of these things that have been around, or just even caught a few recently, just write MFIA down below in the comments and let us know that you know what it is, and you're always here to check these out. So look forward to hopping on and see people can see us. They can see our crowns. We got the dueling crowns tonight, apparently. We always have fun. And in fact, crowns and props and other things, I'm sure will come up during a conversation tonight on especially how Bruce has leveraged that so well in social media in a lot of fun ways and stuff too. Because no one says you can't be successful and do amazing in this business. Why not? Why having fun at the same time? So with that, we're going to talk about that a little bit too. So we'll keep these on through our intros. So let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit as well. So why you guys are writing first, or MFIA, if you guys have been on here, let's talk a little bit about who we are in the first place and why you guys are on here. So my name is David Denning. I'm part of the Jumpstart Go team that runs the Marketing for Insurance Agents group that you guys are in right now. And we really created this group to be a free resource for you guys. A place for you guys to ask questions, have industry discussions, best practices, strategies, find referral partners, all kinds of things, as well as we do these Facebook Lives every week on Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So get those on your calendar, bookmark those. You're going to want to check these out. We do record them, but they're better live when you come and join us, because then you can ask your questions while you're on. And so we really created this as just a hub for 20,000 plus insurance agents, growing constantly. We appreciate you guys. And then where we seriously really, really help agents and agency owners are looking for significant growth, doubling, tripling production, growing their teams, growing their agency, looking to be a part of the 8% in the industry. That's what we do in the Closers Click program, which we'll talk about in a bit as well. But that's what we focus on here. Now, Bruce, I would love if you can give a brief intro on yourself and your background in the industry, a little bit about you, so everybody knows who's joining them tonight.
Sure. Thank you, David. I appreciate being here. My name is Bruce Weinstein. My wife, Robin, and I have Weinstein Wealth Insurance Solutions. We're pretty much a full-service insurance agency on life and health, and we have strategic partners with PNC. We're located down in Delray Beach, Florida, but we're licensed in over 20 states. I started in the industry in 1986, before most tadpoles out there were even born. But this is a new business enterprise for us. We started in November. From scratch, a brand new agency focusing strictly on the insurance side of the business. So I'm sure there'll be some of what we talk about tonight.
Oh, for sure. For sure. We'll talk a lot about that experience. And okay, so I'm going to take this off because my hair is getting really hot a little bit. So as much as I do love the crown.
Like my toupee.
But yeah, let's go ahead and chat a little bit. So I'm going to tee up the training tonight, what you guys are hopping on for, what we're going to be talking about. Really, really exciting one. Really, really key. I think is one of the most important aspects to this business, and especially long-term sustainable growth and success in this industry, and really leverages and is a part of that whole. This is a relationship industry, and really brings that to the forefront. And when you do very well at realizing that and executing that, this is the type of area that really grows and takes off significantly. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So I'm excited to have Bruce on with us tonight. We're going to be discussing how Bruce has built a powerhouse, and I mean that when I say a powerhouse referral network online. We've been working with Bruce for about 6 months, and Bruce has a ton of momentum, especially in the areas of referrals and building partnerships, a key specialty of his. And so, people are reaching out to Bruce on Facebook Messenger, asking for quotes. He's generating warm referrals online. He's built a powerhouse referral network that you consistently rely on quotes for quotes and leads. If you'd like to have a steady stream of referrals coming in for your business and your agency, write me down below. And if you're on here, that's probably why you're here. You're looking to have steady stream of referrals and to grow that aspect of your business. And nobody out there is going to argue with the fact that referrals are the best leads that you can get for your agency and your company. When you got referrals coming in and they're quality and they're hot, they trust you and they're needing help, that is the best people to be coming to you. And the more you can have of that, the better. Every new agent dreams of it as they're buying leads or knocking doors or cold calling numbers. Like, man, I can't wait till the time when I have a bunch of referrals pouring in. But it doesn't have to be 5, 10, 20 plus years down the road, especially if you're executing the right methods, especially in today's world of social. So we're going to talk about that a lot tonight. So write me down below if you're excited to learn more about generating a steady stream of referrals. So Bruce,
hello.
Tell us a little bit about your referral network and where you connect with people online. Where are you touching base with them?
Well, there's a couple different avenues. So obviously the Facebook build out since I joined TCC and connected with you guys about 6 months ago has been a tremendous resource for us. I spent a decent amount on Facebook with purpose, and it's not just a time suck of the abysses I talk about. But tied to that, I have my own referral networking groups, and with the power of Zoom, I've been able to expand into more of those activities where you're connecting with more high-level relationships and cultivating referral partners that way. So it's a combination of multiple activities. What we like to call being the octopus is there's no one activity that is just the place to be. You have to do a lot of different activities, and from that comes, activity and success will come from being active. And so my efforts of literally on a 20-day work calendar, I probably have about 18 different networking events on my calendar throughout the month. And so that's always keeping me front of mind. It's always making new relationships. It's finding new referral partners or strategic partners. Activity
breeds success, especially strategic activity that you're putting in place. And the exact opposite, if you're not, putting activity into your business and not doing the right things and really putting in the work, then you're not going to get results. You're not going to get success. So Bruce is an example, very much so, of putting in the effort, but especially the right effort, is spending the time in the right places. And so, like Bruce mentioned, Facebook isn't just for looking at pictures of cats and cute grandkids and stuff. Facebook is a powerful tool for your insurance business and for connecting with people, as it is a social network. People forget that sometimes. And so it's really powerful when you can leverage that. So I know Bruce has been leveraging that, Zoom, and Facebook groups. I'm sure you've been connecting with people within different groups and connections and stuff there, and leveraging those as well. And also connections lead to connections. So, I mean, how often, not only within the TCC, as I know you get a lot of referrals from other members just within TCC and connections and stuff there. But I mean, really, as you build this referral network, how much more so do you get connections and referrals as that expands and expands?
It's a spider web, right? The more you have, the more you're going to obtain. If you go by that rule of 51 or all the different numbers that are out there, David is going to know X amount of people to introduce me to. So it's just a matter of cultivating that relationship that allows David to be comfortable introducing Bruce, which we've seen happen. On top of that, the networking activities tied to Facebook, people in a business forum now you're connecting with on Facebook get to see the other side of you. They see that maybe you're a little more genteel or genuine. You're letting your hair down and you're taking your tie off. But all of those things are going to elevate how people see you and feel more comfortable wanting to engage you. And that's what I've been starting to get. I don't know if you want to talk about the crowns yet and those activities, but the things that I have been doing, and from the lessons that I learned from TCC and Sandra and the 5x5 stuff, is to get myself on those algorithms on Facebook where people are seeing me. And I have friends calling me on a Sunday afternoon going, "Why am I seeing your stuff every time I'm on Facebook?" I said, "Well, are you watching it?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, the more you watch it, the more they're going to keep giving it to you. Like, that's how it works." So, for maybe some of us in the silver-haired silverback series that don't understand social media, it's game-changing. And that's really what I've learned the most in the last 6 months, is how to embrace and utilize this as a significant weapon. I mean, it is a weapon.
It is. I mean, it's a key tool in the toolbox for agents and agency owners looking to grow and scale, and knowing how it works and how to leverage that is key. I think a lot of people know social media can be a tool and can be powerful, but not a lot know how to work it, how to implement it, how to put stuff in place. So they do so ineffectively, and they may spend crazy amount of times with very little results. Which, if that's ever been you, anybody who's hopping on here, you feel like you spent a lot of time on social but not gotten results, or you just haven't done anything because you're not sure what to do and how to use that, write me down below in the comments and let me know. Also, while you're doing that, letting you know, please ask any and all questions you got for Bruce or myself, anything tonight in the comments. We'll be collecting those, and we're going to have a Q&A time a little bit later on. We'll pull out the best questions from there. So ask us questions down below, and we'll be tracking those for you guys. But coming back, Bruce, a little bit, we've talked about these different areas you've been connecting, these powerhouse groups you've formed, and just how you constantly have referrals come in. And I see your posts within the Closers Click of these referral opportunities that keep popping up and keep coming. Right. It's almost every single day, and then more people referring more, which is excellent and what everybody really aspires to. I mean, if you're going to pick one area to have the vast majority, if not entirety, of your pipeline come from that is sustainable long term, referrals are it. And so that's absolutely key. But can you tell us a little bit? You've been around the block a few times. You've been in the industry for a bit, and things have changed, and always do change. Can you talk a little bit about the differences and everything in your experiences from maybe the face-to-face referrals and networking and everything, and I'm sure that you've experienced throughout your time in the industry, to now what this is looking like as well with this online component, whether that's a part of the overall with still face-to-face, or just in general, what that kind of opportunity is and how it's different, pros and cons, kind of from just the face-to-face side.
Sure. Let's go back to literally day one in the early mid 80s. I cold called out of a phone book. That's all we had. That's all we knew. There was no caller ID. There was no do not call list.
BNC, yes.
None of that existed. We were calling at 8 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, nights and weekends, and literally just out of a phone book. And for those who don't know what a phone book is, you can Google, because they don't even make phone books anymore.
Something like the green pages or the blue pages. I forget what it was called. Yeah.
So over time, based on where I was at that point in my career, sometimes we eventually lead generation services, you could buy some leads, came about. But ultimately for me, two pieces really exponentially raised my practice. I got into the seminar world and I started to promote very targeted, the word today is avatar, but my avatar back then was a 58 to 62-year-old making a certain amount of money, living within a certain amount of area. And I could target audience, my mailing campaigns, to invite them to a steak dinner at a local restaurant of favor, Ruth Chris these days, but back then, not so much. And get them to come in, and they would wean themselves from 10,000 people to 100 showing up to 10 wanting to meet to 7 becoming clients. And it was very easy in the process. And most importantly, what people forget is, yes, the money entailed to invest in it. It was a massive leverage of my time. I, on average, would have, the very first one I did, I had over 500 people. I had 50 people a night for 10 nights. We advertised 3 nights and we kept adding more. So I had over 500 people, 250 couples. Okay. Come to that very first event in 1997, 1998. Right. And so what was I doing is I was giving 25 couples an hour, hour and a half presentation. And then from there, they would select down who would want to come in and meet with me. And when they came in to meet with me, they were 90% ready to want to do business. Because if they didn't want to meet with me, there was no pressure for them to come in the door. But what that did is I took 25 hours of conversation and put it into 1 hour, because I got to speak to 25 people at once. So when we talk about working smarter, not harder, that was a massive leverage of time versus me trying to find those 25 couples, speaking to each one of them for an hour and a half individually, and having 30 nights to do that versus one. Okay. So that was and that was a huge boost to my business back in the 90s. The second piece, I got invited maybe 1999-ish into something called The Tip, which is a BNI competitor. I think they're around. I don't see them that often anymore. But I learned about and got the exposure that these networking groups existed. We didn't really have robust chambers in our area of central New Jersey at the time. So the chambers weren't the place like where it is now in Florida, which is a very robust piece of the community. So for me, learning and understanding what this Le Tip BNI was, well, I didn't need them, and maybe not to disparage some of the hokiness that was involved, but what I ultimately did is I launched my own group. And so we came up with our own trusted advisor group off of that BNI type of model. But these were people that I already was doing business with, already had relationships with, people that I, in a heartbeat, would have no issue giving my top clients the introduction to. And so by establishing our own group, the intimacy level was light years ahead of anything that a chamber, leads group, or a BNI might be able to develop, because David's being put in a room with Bruce and 30 strangers. How long is it going to take David to get to be known and to know and to use and to trust and to say, this is my best client. Am I willing to give it to this guy sitting at the table, who's, sucking his teeth, right? So I don't know if I'm going to trust that person. And so the success that came from my group was high level of intimacy. So when you talk about the golden rule of networking is people want to do business with what? Who they know, like, and trust, right? So if you put that already in the room, you're already at 400 degrees. The oven's already preheated. You're ready to go. Business is getting done. And so those two elements for me is really what changed my game. So when I got back in, to segue to November, having left that business and in 2016 and sold my practice, my wife and I kind of looking at what do we want to do. And we're still young enough to have some kicking and screaming in us. So we decided to just focus on rebuilding from scratch an insurance only agency. And so taking that experience, having been out of the business for over 4 years, not doing the asset investment side of things anymore, well, there's things we didn't know, right? We were new to health insurance. We were new to Medicare. I had experience on the life, long-term care, disability, annuity side, but we had to get more pieces. And then to why we're here in this session in your group is I didn't know anything about the social media aspects. And there were a lot of what I don't know. So I came across this group first, as everybody else with Jumpstart Grow. And maybe a little skeptical. We'll be transparent. You and I had conversations. I wasn't sure. I wasn't trying to be obstinate, old dog, new tricks. But you and I had some private conversation, and the light bulb just kept going off. Like, if this guy knows this, what else does he know? And what am I missing by not being in the room? And I joined within a week or two of our conversation, the TCC. And that's when things really took off in the effort. So I'll let you get a word.
And we'll definitely talk about that in just a second. And so guys, Bruce was talking about both, from in person and the seminars and connecting with referral groups in person to now, what he's really leveraging as well online in these communities, especially in today's age of COVID and stuff, but as well as just the opportunity in general with internet, being able to connect to people across the country so easily now, with all these different atmospheres as well. Let us know down in the comments, do you connect with people for referrals face to face? online, or both? Let us know down below, right? Either face-to-face, online, or both. I'd love to know where you guys are currently sourcing your referral relationships and partnerships from. Also, let us know if you're a part of a BNI or some sort of referral or networking group. Let us know down below as well. So, Bruce, and I know we kind of hopped a little bit into this. What were some of the challenges you faced before we started working together, as far as your lead flow and pipeline, like-minded communities, mistakes? What were some of those main challenges before we really started chatting?
A multitude, really, right? Is that not any one particular, as much as you're starting from scratch. We have, let's say, abstracted or disconnected uplines based on what our business is. So we weren't necessarily in one direct chain of command for everything that we need with training and all of this. Now, we had it from our health side. There was a lot of training to get us up to speed and how to do business and where to process. And then I had the older relationships that I was able to, get back on board fairly quickly. But a lot of it is, to what we said a moment ago, is it's what you don't know. And so you and I connected over technology and CRMs, and there was a conversation there that really flipped the switch for me. But you're new, right? Anybody who's a new agent out there, besides picking up the phone and calling out of that phone book, what are you doing for leads? Where is it going to come from? What are you going to do to execute getting a game plan? And so for me, it was a multitude, again, that octopus activities of resurrecting old relationships, letting people know we were back in the space. And that was Facebook and LinkedIn and email blasts and phone calls. But our upline on health insurance provided us leads. Not what I want to be doing at this age in my life and stage of my life, but you got to start somewhere. So we worked the phones and we called an open enrollment for health insurance, and we did what any rookie needs to do. And very quickly, I don't want to put 8-10 hours a day in that. I'm going to focus on what I used to do better and best, and that was the social networking. And so for me, it was, how many more groups can I join? What else is out there? This one told me about that group. This one told me about this group. The chambers down here were going live again, and they have leads group. And guess what? My seat is open, which that's another challenge for those who want to be in the BNI setting is, you got 20,000 followers. If they all went out tomorrow and tried to find a BNI group or a chamber group, I guarantee half of them are going to say, well, there's no room, that seat's taken, right? So I worked around that because I was encountering that. That's why I launched my own group. I didn't worry about, it's not in my backyard and I got to go 20 minutes up the road and, set up my own group under BNI. I did it for myself. And so that's good.
I was going to say, and to be fair, one of the very first seats normally taken in BNI groups as they're even getting launched is insurance, right? Yeah, or the different insurance seats. So they're the quickest ones to get taken and gone before that group's even really launching. So finding a group that you can slot into that's existing, or especially a good one, is going to be real tough.
Absolutely. And again, we'll talk about this in how I instruct and coach younger people to set up their own groups, is the do's and the don'ts and how to go about doing it. But why pay BNI? If BNI doesn't have a seat for you and they say, go get 8 of your friends and launch your own group and we'll help you. Well, my question is then, why do I need you if I'm going to launch my own group? If you have an existing group with a seat for me, then that's worth the money to pay for admission because it's already a developed group that I can slide into. But that's maybe 10 or 20% of the time.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about why it's so much more powerful, obviously, to build and be in control of your own with the people that you want in it in the first place, because that, like you said, is a big factor. You don't necessarily want to have to refer to people that you don't want to refer to or don't think are going to do a good job. That kind of defeats the whole purpose and your whole relationship and, doing the best for your clients, of course. And so, guys, write me in the comments of some of these challenges are that you can relate to or have gone through or are currently going through, whether it's pipelines, knowing how to connect with people, who to connect with, how to keep those full, knowing automation, tool systems, knowing that you don't know what you don't know. Write me down below if you can relate to some of these challenges and let us know which ones you relate to the most. So Bruce, what advice would you give the audience, tuning in here today, that want to build a referral network like yours, and kind of some of these things that you put in place, what have been the most impactful, and what should they kind of know about as far as building, communities, their referral partnerships, relationships, what's kind of key components to that a little bit?
Well, depending on how far along you are in your career in business and how many tools are in your toolbox, then you want to find the complementing tools that you don't have, right? So I'm not a CPA, I'm not an estate attorney. I would want people like that could fill in the void. If you're paying attention and having the conversation with your clients, they're telling you things they need. If you're that trusted advisor in the insurance or financial space, you're going to know where they have holes. And your job as an advisor is to help them fill those holes. So we've heard of the sites, I Got a Guy, I Got a Gal, and people that we want to find. So you're trying to build that network. So for you to have basically take your own inventory of who do I need? Who are my best strategic partners, referral partners that I could rely on when my clients have help. So first and foremost, you got to identify those maybe top 5 players, right? B, who do I have in my Rolodex already? And let me step back for half a second, is you need to be a little bit selfish, right? If you're going to start your own group or get involved in this, we all have a whiffum. What's in it for me, right? So you want to be a little bit stingy and protect your interests, that if you're going to launch a group, make sure you're putting people in the group that are going to use you, that are feeding you business just as much as you're feeding them. You're doing them the service. You're doing the homework. You're the straw that stirs the drink. The old Reggie Jackson, for those of you old enough to know the Yankees in the 70s. But Reggie Jackson was the straw that stirred the drink. He made the Yankees go, right? So if you're the facilitator of your own networking group, you're the straw, and people are going to look up to you. But at the same time, you're bringing them tremendous value. They need to reciprocate. And so you want to make sure you're a little bit selfish in putting the right players, not just because they can steam up the mirror and take the seat. So if that person's not referring and they're not doing, or they're not taking good care of your clients, they got to be on probation pretty quick and replaced.
Absolutely. I mean, it's got to be mutually beneficial, and everybody's got to be really have the same vision and be bought into that, or else, it's not going to be beneficial for them. It's not going to be beneficial for the others. And so I think that's one of the key things with building your own, is that you can create that and craft that and have that expectation of that culture, and that how it's mutually beneficial and who you're putting in there as well. So,
the corporate world is very win-lose, right? A lot of us will find, depending on your backgrounds in corporate America, that the system is geared to be win-lose. I'm a win-win. Right. I learned at a very young age, the adage my father said to me when I started the business is, you can cut a person's hair many times. You can only scalp them once. So if you're going to take advantage of something to get over on somebody, whether it's a referral partner or a client, whatever it is, they're never coming back. Right. You want the person coming in that gets their hair cut every 5 to 6 weeks, as thin as it is, and they still show up and they keep sitting in your chair and they get their haircut. And so for you as a advisor in the space, why would you burn those bridges? You want to make everything win-win. So for me, and this will go into some of the stuff we talk about with the networking style, is I pay it forward. You and I have talked about that value prop. So one of the things that I educate, teach the people getting involved in this is you got to give to get. If you walk in a room, any kind of networking event, even if it's not your own group, you're just going to any kind of networking card exchange. If you're out there to get names and make sales and give me your clients and everything else, you wasted your admission fee. You wasted your evening, go home and watch Netflix. Like you just burnt your bridge, right? You need to go in there. And what I basically did was, and I learned this a number of years back, because everybody looks in the room, goes, oh, here comes another insurance guy. Oh, here comes another realtor. Here comes another mortgage broker. There's 35 of us in the room, right? And all their eyes roll back as soon as you say the I word or the A word or whatever it is, right? So for me, what I would do is, hey, David, you know what? I got 300 clients. Tell me more about your business. Why should I refer my clients to you? They come to me weekly with a variety of needs and asks. I'm their gatekeeper. They trust me. They trust the people that I align with. So David Denning, tell me why I should bring my clients into the fold for you. And so now all of a sudden you're in a networking group and they're like, whoa, what just happened here? Right? Because I'm putting them on the defensive, not the offensive.
Yep. And absolutely.
It's usually the other way around. They're on the offensive now, not the defensive.
Yeah. I mean, guys, everybody on this, listen to this. If you've been at a networking event, which if you've been in the industry more than 2 seconds, you've probably done some networking or local networking at some point in time, or even with the past industry you were part of before this, and you've gone around and you've talked to people, handed out business cards and left, and nothing's ever happened or come from that. Write me in the comments if that's ever been you. After doing many, many years and many different networking events, I can tell you that is the biggest thing and the most common thing is that you meet someone, you tell them what you do, you hand them a business card, you leave. Nothing comes out of that. It's a giant waste of time for everybody because no one is really serious about bringing value to the other person, having that discussions, and really, no one's just going to take a card and be like, oh, let me hand my most trusted clients and people that I know over to someone that told me 2 sentences about themselves and handed me a card. That's not how it works, especially in real estate. Down here, there's 8,000 real estate agents in our county alone. Just because you hand out a card doesn't mean you're going to get a referral for real estate.
Right.
And so that's the key. Givers gain. I think that's a BNI thing. But yeah, I mean, the whole like providing value and a source. Bruce just talking right there. Hey, this is the value I can bring. I've got clients. They have needs. I like to send them places. I send referrals. Why would I send referrals to you? And having them really, why are they a good solution for that? And if they don't know, then they probably aren't one. But that really starts a true conversation and brings that around, the value and how things can be mutually beneficial. And that's what actually is the key to success behind these referral relationships. Is that, I mean, the just walking around, handing out business cards and stuff like that isn't what leads to these long lasting, deep relationships and referrals and people that are cheering you on while you're cheering them on and both having success in your business. We very much also believe in win-win scenarios. This industry is huge. There's tons of opportunity. And if you're doing right, there's plenty of opportunities for win-win-win, not only for you, your referral partner, but for the clients of themselves, of course. And so that's huge. Don't burn bridges, like Bruce said, because honestly, being friends and having connections all over the industry with different specialties, different niches, different locations, all those kind of things. There's just so much benefit that comes from that. And Bruce is connected with people across the country, and that is a huge benefit to him, that he can literally service people from all over and get referrals from all over through these connections and resources that he's built or become a part of as a part of that. So yeah,
we said earlier, we're in 20 states. We didn't start in November with 20 states. We've added those states because we've been referred into those markets with opportunities, and we're glad to add the licenses as they come. So from 3 states to 20 in 9 months, 8 months.
Yeah. So in a few more months, Bruce will be in pretty much every state. So yeah.
And I can move my headquarters to Hawaii.
You might have to go visit Hawaii just to check it out before you grab that state. Do some due diligence research there. But yeah, I mean, and guys, I know we promised earlier. Probably still like, well, still, what's the deal with this hat? What's the deal with the crown? Because we haven't talked about it yet. But I know we absolutely do want to talk about that because that has been both a fun and a pretty productive thing that you've been doing as well. So Bruce, I'd love if you can tell them a little bit about Crown, a little bit about what you're doing on social, how that's been effective for you. Not only just that as we go along this, but also in general, what do these referrals and these things look like for you? What are some of these referrals that have come through kind of recently and opportunities and stuff that have just popped up out of referrals? Not because you're buying expensive leads or that you're running some fancy ads or anything, but what are just some of these opportunities that pop up that, are so big to your business?
So the Crown, let's start there. So part of our training months back, very quickly for me, was getting involved with the social media and doing the Facebook Live. And so you pretty much told us, take your phones and do it now. And, we're all battling our COVID-15 and, I don't have my mascara on and I didn't shave today and I don't want to be live. And here we are being told, go do it. Right. So once you pulled that Band-Aid off, it was easy. From there, the conversation was, I think Sandra mentioned this unique remembrance for her that somebody actually sent her a private birthday video versus just the 300 tags and hellos and happy birthdays on her birthday. And the one she remembered was the video more than anything else. And so I incorporated that. And the next day, started seeing some friends of mine's birthdays and took my phone and said, "Hi, Tracy. Happy birthday. It's Bruce. We know each other since preschool, 55 years. Happy birthday." Right. And so she's like, "That was awesome. Thank you so much. And, I really appreciate it." And it was memorable, right? You want to be memorable. I talk about shelf life, like giving gifts or memories to clients that are going to be lasting shelf life. So I used to give out a book, 1,000 Places to See Before You Die. And every client that we brought on, I inscribed the book, and there's 1,000 places for them to do. Every time they traveled, every time they pulled out that book, there's my signature and my inscription to them. That's shelf life, right? So you want to have shelf life. So that video to Sandra, to Tracy in that case, that's memorable. They're going to remember that forever. Okay. Well, that quickly went to, I can't do 10 and 15 private birthday messages every day. That's a little bit cumbersome. And so what I started to do, tied in with the Facebook Live, was I was figuring out how to do a feed of some kind, and using my cameras and Zooms and recordings, I finally figured out that I could make a list of the 30 or 40 names and birthdays going on a given day. And then we started adding anniversaries and engagements and weddings and birth announcements. And I play a song every day. I wear a different hat. I've got my bow tie, which is, I can't reach it, but it's over there. I got my, I got my horns. It became the Uncle Floyd show from the 70s. And so I became, so somebody wrote me and said, "You're like everybody's favorite Uncle Bruce." So I became Uncle Bruce, and somebody said, "You're nuts. You're crazy for doing this." So I became Crazy Uncle Bruce. And so I literally have a regular broadcast, pretty much 6 out of 7 days, if not all 7. And I recognize, and I'll harvest. We talked about being on Facebook. I'll harvest that David wished Elle a happy birthday, and Amy wished Steve, something for his birthday. And so I'm screenshotting and collecting that data and then writing down, and then I have my list.
And very soon we're going to get some VAs collecting these things for you. And
yeah, I'm working on that. I'm working on that because that's a lot of time. But I go live. I have nothing scripted. I just read from it. I have a song that comes to me for the day, and I just be goofy. And then my closing line is, "Go be nice to somebody else. It won't cost you a thing." And that's my closing line. So being nice, paying it forward, recognizing people. Everybody, look, you get past a certain age, you don't want to recognize it's your birthday. You don't want to hear that you're turning 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, right? The double nickel, 55. So you accept your birthday for what it is, but somewhat mentally, you really don't want it. And then you still want to be the 9-year-old that got presents and cake and a surprise, right? So this is just my way of saying, look, we might be an adult. It's still your birthday. Somebody cares about you. We're saying hi. So now back to your question. Now I get people who respond, "I can't believe you gave me a shout out for my birthday. I can't believe you, thank you so much for recognizing my daughter, my son, whatever." And then here's the next line. "Oh, by the way." Oh, by the way.
The best words.
"Do you do life? Do you do health? My son's coming off. He's just turned 26. You just shouted out his birthday. He's coming off my plan. Can you help him get his own insurance?" "Yes, I can." "Hey, you're a real buffoon out there." He's, my one buddy Rory's on there. He's like, "You can't dance. You got the overbite. What are you doing?" "I need life insurance. Can you help me with my life insurance?" "Yes, I can, Rory. Thanks very much for asking." Right. So they're engaging, David. They're seeing it. I shared a screenshot this morning with a group of mine that my birthday post yesterday had 191 views. They didn't all comment. There's not 191 comments or likes, but there were 191 views. So people are seeing it. And then I get that call, message, email, whatever. One more quick one. So last week, somebody that was in a previous networking group of mine 5 years ago, lost contact, haven't really seen him. And either he saw something in an email campaign or he saw something on Facebook, and he said, "I think we can do some business together. Can we talk?" He set up a call. He has a payroll company. His clients are asking him for health insurance plans for their companies. He just does their payroll. They want retirement plans. They want 401ks. So now we had a conversation of what we can do. And by Friday, he sent me his first referral of one of his clients. So how did he see me? How did it resurrect? Where did it come from? Something I did got his attention. And he's like, oh, let me check back with Bruce, see what's going on there. What can we do together?
I mean, and that's so powerful because, I mean, if we think about our warm networks right now, like, who do we interact with, on a somewhat regular basis or have conversations with, or would really be like, oh yeah, I really know Bruce, and we stay in contact, all that sort of stuff. That's a limited network. It's a warm network. Some are going to be bigger than others, and so on. But when you go to, okay, my cousin I haven't spoken with in 5 years, to people I know from high school and middle school, old college fraternity brothers and stuff like that, or whatever and stuff. Well, those are all people you can't keep up with everybody out there and have regular conversations with. People fade, but from important, relationships from parts of your life and time periods, well, social and algorithms and your connections on there open you up to getting back in front of these people, establishing back these connections. Like, Bruce, I haven't talked to you in years. I didn't know you were doing insurance. I do need help with that, or whatever, or my business needs help with something, or so on, or whatever. And so you're opening yourself up to a much wider, still warm network of these people know you. They just haven't spoken to you in a while, and having those people come in, connect you with others. I mean, that's how you build up a bigger and bigger network here and really tap into that, which Bruce has very much successfully done there, as well as building his own groups, and for strategic referral partners and stuff there. I mean, it's so powerful, guys. And so, that's key about being memorable as well as a part of that. I mean, you can connect and get back in front of these people, but if it's in some way that's not memorable at all, they may have been like, oh, I think I maybe saw Bruce scroll by, but I just scrolled right past it because it, wasn't even something I was going to stop on. But when you see someone with a crazy hat and some ties talking about something, and they tagged you in something, what in the world is this about? And you're going to watch it, listen to it, and be like, oh, and so, talk about memorable, just in general, for example, guys, I know we're all insurance, or we're around insurance people or whatever, but let's talk about real estate or whatever. I mean, we all have encountered hundreds, if not more, real estate agents in one time or another, whether it's a networking thing, whether it's in and about, they get out just as much, if not more, than insurance agents. Well, how many memorable ones can you really remember that you've come into contact with or seen stuff with that you're like, oh man, they really stood out? Absolutely remember those guys. Like, they would be the first people to come up or ever. And how many of those can you think about? Probably not a lot, because it's probably all similar, probably all doing similar things, probably nothing that separated them out really too much from the other next real estate agent. So when you're memorable, you all of a sudden put yourself at the top above any of your other competition that nobody can even remember their names because it's just another insurance person or whatever. But Bruce, he's the guy that has the birthday hat, the horn, the other stuff. He's wishing people happy birthday, his anniversary. He actually popped on. I haven't spoken to this guy in years, or maybe we just became Facebook friends a few months ago, never talked to him, and I'm getting a shout out here. That's something memorable. That's something that they're going to pay attention to. That's such a key component. So, and I know we could go on about that a lot. I mean,
let me give one more piece real quick. It's not just I recognized it was your birthday. If you gave a shout out, let's say I didn't know who Amy was, right? So you're wishing Amy a happy birthday. I'm tagging you, recognizing Amy, listing both of you in the video. So now you're going to send that over if she's not connected to me. And now that reach is exponential. We said back to that everybody 51 connections, right? So I've got people that I see regularly. I tease them because they're posting every day somebody else's birthday, and every day they're on my list. And I'm like, Charlie's got 3 people today. And I start teasing them. I'm going to charge them a VIG, for all the shout outs, right? But what it's doing is it's expanding my reach, because as those people go, hey, Charlie, who's that knucklehead that's wearing that bow tie and hat? And then they go to my profile. They may not engage, but now they know who I am, right? And so that's the eyeballs. And to bring you to full circle to the conversation of cold calling out of a phone book to what I'm doing here is, if I'm posting 30, 40, 50 tags a day, what is that spider web reach on a daily basis through social media? Is it 250? Is it 500? I don't know. But every day it's circulating out there in the World Wide Web, and that beats cold calling, folks. That's all I can say.
Oh, it's actually also building up, that know, like, trust, getting in front of people, them being able to see you, one, and then hear you as well. and getting these touches of people that you don't even know you're getting in front of and touching or ever and stuff. Whereas calling through, well, you're lucky enough to get some on the phone. If even they can only hear you, you're just someone who called them out of the blue. The likelihood to build up enough trust for them to reach out to you, message you, comment, engage with you, refer someone to you on social is such a bigger opportunity, and that you can really expand from there. And like Bruce has mentioned, like with these strategies, that we talk about in the Closers Click and social and everything, you're not just getting in front of your own friends and connections, like he's mentioning, you're expanding out and getting in front of people that you aren't even connected with. You don't even know, and you're getting your content in front of them and then coming to you or getting connected with you or sending referrals, coming to you as leads and prospects. So much opportunity. And so, best thing of all, it's all free. So, this is organic social, guys. We're not talking about running a whole bunch of Facebook ads and stuff like that. We're talking about just organically leveraging social. And honestly, a huge advantage over even face-to-face. Face-to-face, you got to drive, got to go different things. What time are they starting? Blah, 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 whatever and stuff. And you can only do so much, and it's your local area. Online, you can do this when you want. You can do this, any day, every day. You can do this ongoing. And this is something that you build up and establish as part of your brand and part of what you do. And it's all over the country. Like I said, with Bruce being able to connect all over the place rather than just hitting a local networking event. So we talked about nurturing relationships. I mean, building key relationships, these strategic referral partners is key too, because they're going to want to have that relationship to be able to consistently send you people and trust you with people. We talked about that, and finding community, like-minded agency owners that will challenge and push you. And we talked about leading with value and what you can do with them, of course. But Bruce, how important is like a community of agents and agency owners, like even within your same industry, pushing you, challenging you, and also looking for, really big growth within their businesses as well?
Well, it's a great question, because what I have encountered with Facebook and the direction Facebook has grown into is all these groups, this group included, right? And so there's the Medicare group, and there's the health insurance group, and there's the life insurance group, and there's the annuity groups. So you're in these group with your peers, and as the old line says, no one has a monopoly on all the good ideas.
I don't know where Bruce went, so please come back, Bruce. So Bruce will be hopping right back. Maybe lost internet, something. He'll be right back. But we're going to be doing our Q&A in just a minute. So last chance to get your questions. We've been collecting them throughout. We will pick top questions and answer them in the Q&A. So go ahead and drop those in, and so that we got them. And in the meantime, Bruce is back, I believe. I don't know if his video is back on. So Bruce, you may just have to change your camera so that we get your face back, because people don't even look at me the whole time. They see me on all these. So yeah, bam.
I didn't touch a thing. I don't know what
happened.
I don't
know. Sometimes stuff happens, but we roll with it. And that's a part of, I've already seen some questions about video and some stuff. So we'll have you answer on that a little bit in just a second. But yeah, go ahead and continue.
I don't know what you heard last. So where did it cut off? We were talking about the other groups that are out in Facebook, the life, the annuity, whatever. And then I said something along the lines of, no one has a monopoly on all good ideas. I don't know if that came out or I got cut off. And so you go in these groups, and for me, as most young adult males were, I was super competitive as a young buck, right? And so I have a drive, and I've got an ego, and I like to be in that top percentile, and I didn't like seeing my name at the bottom. And a lot of that has been resurrected in seeing the Joe Camperts and the Medicare gurus and the Kristen Brindles and, and what Cody Askins is doing and Pete Fournay. I'm name dropping, but these guys, I go up to them. I'm like, I'm licensed longer than you're all alive, but yet they're teaching me things and they're changing the industry. And so the synergy from all of that, the conduit has been Facebook for me. That's how I found all these people and made these relationships. And then as you and I were at 8% Nation in Dallas a couple weeks ago, I started going to these events and meeting these people in person and getting more involved and being in the room and starting to speak myself. And it's just creating more visibility and a focus that ties back to Facebook.
Absolutely. And that's so key. And, social, I think, as we mentioned, on the referral side, relationships, building those up, are such a huge component of the business, and learning learning what you don't know. And so there's so much out there that are opportunities. And honestly, I think that's one of the biggest components of the top percent of this industry that make it, that thrive, that grow, is they're constantly learning, they're constantly expanding, they're constantly putting things into place that are what works right now. We're going to continue to work and constantly looking to improve themselves in this business. And those are the ones that absolutely thrive and succeed in this industry. And so with that, like I said, last chance to get any questions in. We're going to do the Q&A in just a minute. I'm also going to have Bruce mention where you can find him, keep up with him, see some of these videos he's putting out, check him out, and all what he's doing as well. But before we move in the Q&A, let's talk a little bit about the Closers Click. The Closers Click is where we work with agents and agency owners on implementing strategies like what we've talked about here, on leveraging social for referral relationships and leads, and bringing stuff in organically through social, as well as automation, sales, many other areas of your business for that growth and that scaling. And that's where we really look for serious agents, agency owners that are wanting to double, triple production, that are wanting to grow and scale their agency, that are wanting to put things into practice that work today and now for that growth. And not only the strategies and what works for that growth, but the accountability to make sure it's put in place and happens as well. It's one thing to have access to knowledge and strategies, is another to actually put it in place and get those results and that growth, which is a key component too. So if you'd like to build powerhouse referral network and have coaches within the Closers Click that are making sure that happens, have those strategies to do so, just write more referrals down below if you want more referrals, and some of our team will reach out, get you a little bit more info about the Closers Click, if it may be a fit for you, for the growth, and get you some more info on that. As well as if you're a new member in the Marketing for Insurance Agents group, write more referrals as well. Someone from our team would love to connect, see how we can best help to support you with your business as well. And so with that, before we do the Q&A, Bruce, please let the audience know where they can connect with you, where they can find you online, where they can see some of these awesome videos of yours.
Sure. Well, we have a YouTube page, and our business website is WeinsteinWealth.com. And then I also have a new division, if you will, called, you see my shirt, says Destined for Greatness. And so we have a landing page. We're running some webinars. We have one Wednesday night where we dive deeper into what we're talking about tonight, is the do's and don'ts of networking, how to build your own group, and a step-by-step process of how to develop that group. So it's hyphenated. It's destined-for-greatness.com, and you can sign up. It's a free webinar to anybody that wants to attend. And I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, and everywhere else. It's Bruce M. Weinstein. If you're looking for me on LinkedIn, there's lots of imposters out there. Use the M. BMW are my initials, so
perfect.
You can find me. But thank you.
Awesome, and we'll have Bruce drop those links in the comments after this as well, for you guys to check it out. So definitely go connect them, check out his videos. And so with that, we're gonna do some Q&As and roll through these real quick before we wrap up. Once again, though, if you're looking to connect, learn a little more about the Closers Click, how it can help you grow your insurance business and your production, and really be a part of that top percentage in this industry, then just write more referrals down below. With that, so let's go ahead and hop into a few of the questions here. So
I saw somebody ask about the birthday videos doing a Facebook Live. Can I
go for it.
Hit that one while you're looking? So yes, I started doing the Facebook Live birthday videos, but I played music. And so what started happening with the music is you got into some copywriting issues, and Facebook was all of a sudden not playing the music, and you couldn't really hear the audible. So I use whatever this camera system I have. Sometimes I'll do Zoom on the road and I'll record the Zoom and then save it and play it. But I have some feature on my desktop that has this camera, and then it saves it, and then I pull it over, and then I upload the video itself right to Facebook. You want to be careful using YouTube, because if you're taking people from Facebook out of Facebook over to YouTube, Facebook's going to push you down because you're taking their people off their platform. So you want your content, that's why they like the Facebook Live, it's staying right there. So I kind of have a median in between, is I just upload the video. It's not YouTube links.
Native content to Facebook, whether it's a Facebook Live or an uploaded video to Facebook, is going to get a lot more reach and a lot more push from Facebook than, well, any post, a post with any links in it especially if it's to drive them off of Facebook to like YouTube, a competitor of theirs, for example. And so keep that in mind. Facebook knows what you're posting, and they will respond appropriately as far as the reach and engagement your post gets. So awesome. And there's a question: how long did it take you to get comfortable with doing doing videos in general, and then Facebook Lives also?
The initial anxiety the day you made us do it.
Yeah, exactly. On the spot.
And then once I did it, I never looked back.
Exactly.
It was just jumping in the cold water, right? And that was it. I had never hesitation again. I didn't care what I was wearing. I didn't care what I looked like. I didn't care that I was sweating outside in 90-degree humidity and doing a Facebook Live as I'm exercising. It's out the door. It doesn't matter anymore because nobody cares. You care. Nobody cares. If they want to see genuineness.
Go right on past. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot less heart-wrenching if they scroll right past than if someone gets up in the middle of your seminar and walks out the door and leaves during it.
I can tell you stories.
Facebook is just like, okay, the people that care, they're going to pay attention and watch and come through, and the people that don't, they'll scroll past, but they still saw me, and they're going to see me again. They're going to probably see me again or ever, and so you get multiple chances to get in front of them. So let's see. I think we got. Let's take one more. That's kind of like around BNI as far as kind of how much it costs, and is that something to consider? Or I think actually from your perspective, you can talk. What's more advantageous, looking at BNIs and investing in those, or building your own referral network and crafting your own that you can control and charge.
I think in fairness, and I'm not here to denounce BNI. It works for plenty of people, and probably belongs in a lot more people's lives, right? The difference is this: if you've got a network of people that you're comfortable launching with already, then you probably want to pursue that, and it's relatively free. If you're new to an area and you need to break into a community and join the chamber and get in a leads group and join a BNI because you don't have that embedded network, then by all means, it's probably the greatest $500 you'll probably spend. And I don't know how much BNI is to the dollar, but the groups and chapters will vary. But all I would say is do your homework, get a sense of who's already in the group, how long the group's been around, why did the other insurance advisor drop out, why is your seat open all of a sudden? You call that other person like, I was there for 5 years, I didn't get one lead, the group sucks. Okay, well, next, let me find another group.
I mean, and that's the thing. Even in something that's as established and has a system like BNI, a group is only as good as the people within it and their connections and trust with each other. One BNI group and another 3 miles down the road could be entirely different experiences and stuff. You forming your own group, joining other types of referral networking organizations, same thing with chambers, can be entirely different experiences. And so, yes, if you have a chance to get in a good with BNI or similar type group that's established, that they moved or retired or something like that, and you can get in on that, absolutely. Because people will find if you're in a good one and ones that referrals come your way, especially on the insurance side, if they have a great real estate, mortgage loan officer, maybe accountant or something in there, then that can be a powerful tool. You'll get your ROI. That'd be great. Now, if it's not a great one, then you're gonna spend a lot of time and a lot of energy and end up with not really a lot to show for it, and may get a little jaded against networking if that's the case.
David, if you look back, I got turned on to this whole process by a group called The Tip, right? I didn't know about setting up my own group at that point, but what I did was I observed and I said, what can I do to make a group like this better for my needs? A lot of their fundamental principles were great, but there was a side to it that it was just not for me. And so I take that good and I leave behind the bad. And then you say, you know what, David, I'm getting ready to start this group. And are you familiar with blank? Well, this is what I'm doing better. And now you're inviting them into something that maybe is elevated at a much higher level. And so that's the beauty of it being your group. You can tailor it to whatever you want. There's no cookbook. But get the training wheels, go join a group first and maybe invest the year to see if it's the best thing for you to do is to stay or learn from it and now take those lessons and go launch your own.
Absolutely. I mean, the key is to be looking for the things that are going to push you and your business forward. Key relationships, key groups, strategies, accountability to make that happen. All those things are key for that continuous, reliable and sustainable growth within your business. And that's, I think, like we said, a lot of people don't know what they don't know. A lot of uplines and companies, are happy to get contracts, maybe training on the products, maybe even some sales training. But beyond that, it's really up to you to grow. And how do you find out the ways to do that? How do you find out what works? How do you find out, what's going to push you and take you there? And that's what stuff like the Closers Click and stuff is going to help with and help you get there as far as that growth and results. So once again, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about the Closers Click and about these strategies, how to build your business on social, how to make the connections, how to apply automation, systems, sales, hiring, all these different areas, as well as accountability, make sure it happens and get those results. We consistently see a lot within a matter of a few months, doubling or tripling production. And if you want to double triple production, then this is probably definitely for you. Write more referrals down below and we'll connect with you as well. We'll have Bruce drop his links as well on how you can find him, how you can get in touch with him, learn more about him and what he's doing as well in the comments afterwards. But thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Thanks for being a part of this group. Bruce, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
As always. Oh yeah, we'll have a lot more of these, a lot more fun as well. So it's always a good time. And guys, find something that makes you special and memorable. That's absolutely key as well. It can be silly, it cannot be silly, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, if people don't remember you, they can't refer you. If people don't remember you, they're not going to come to you when they're ready. So be memorable. So thanks everybody, appreciate it. You guys have a killer, awesome week, and we'll see you guys.
Go be nice to somebody else out there. Won't cost you a thing. Thanks, David.